Penn Badgley was the one and only candidate for the role of Joe Goldberg.
What was the original audition process like? Did an audition? They apparently, very much wanted me for it.
But why did the show executives choose Penn for such a dark role? Let's discover what childhood memories link Badgley to Joe Goldberg. Which of Penn's fears are manifested in the Netflix show? And what Badgley is ready to do for love in real life.
I think love should come out of nowhere, sweep you up completely.
Joe Goldberg is somewhat of an enigma, but one thing we know for sure is he is a broken man. And the main reason for that is his tragic childhood. On this point, the actor understands his character somewhat. Badgley's parents also didn't get along. When he was 12, his family was torn apart. Penn and his mother left his native Washington and moved to California without his dad. The actor shared that such a pivot in his life completely messed him up. I think their separation probably split me down the middle, 50-50. The actor once even compared himself to his character on the Netflix show.
Kind of the same, we asked this question at the end of our show. What would you do for your 12-year-old self? It's the same. He's the same. He needs that. He needs love. It's like I would hug him.
However, for Penn Badgley, moving to Tinseltown was a great chance to start an acting career. He began doing voiceovers for children's radio stations. Remember the video game Mario? That was Penn's voice.
Oh! It's me!
Later, Penn started appearing on TV. He guest starred in one episode of Will and Grace. After that, Badgley played one of the main roles in The Young and the Restless. From there, his career blossomed. However, working in Hollywood had a downside. Because of his tight schedule, Penn didn't have time to study.
What balance? You've seen enough documentaries about child actors. There is no balance. I didn't go to school.
The actor had to graduate high school at just 13. He prepared for the exams in between filmings. It's hard to imagine how tough that must have been for the young teen. Doesn't that remind you of Mr. Mooney's attitude towards young Joe? Goldberg's foster father and the owner of Mooney's bookstore required full dedication to the job, and he forced Joe to study all night long. While that traumatized Goldberg, the actor who played him also had a hard time in his youth. In one of his latest interviews, Penn described his mid-20s as a period with a dark undercurrent underneath. He faced a deep spiritual crisis. I was certainly in despair. It had to do with, do I matter? Do I matter? Does anything matter? I was thinking a lot about social change, social action, social transformation, but also my own transformation, my own change. He tried to seek solace from all corners by traveling and exploring different religions. The actor also studied a lot of physical techniques, from breathing to meditation, and throwing himself into political causes, such as Occupy Wall Street.
How did I end up here?
The most interesting thing about Penn's transformation? He shared that the thing that saved him was love. Penn was in a serious relationship with his co-star from the teen series Gossip Girl, Blake Lively. The two played a couple on screen, and as the series came out in 2007, they started their romance IRL. Their love story turned out to be life-changing for the actor. Penn shared that Blake didn't let him hide from depression and alcohol. Blake didn't drink, and I think our relationship in some ways saved me from forcing myself to go down that road. The two actors traveled a lot, discovered new hobbies, and enjoyed life together. But after 3 years of dating, the co-stars realized they weren't meant to be a couple, so they decided to remain friends. Penn once shared that their relationship was a learning experience for him. Oh, if only Joe Goldberg could handle his relationships that way. Comparing the actor and the character he portrays, Penn definitely follows the principle that he would do anything for the people he loves, but only in a positive way. He has given past girlfriends a special, personal gift. I've written a song for every woman I've been with. Yes, Penn Badgley's not only a talented actor, but also a great musician. He plays the guitar and writes his own tracks. A common love for music seemingly bonded Penn with his next girlfriend, musician and actress Zoe Kravitz. The two met in New York soon after Badgley broke up with Blake Lively. That kind of reminds us of the first episode of You. Remember how Joe Goldberg got to know Beck through their common interest as well?
Can I help you find something?
Paula Fox?
It's a good choice.
Feel weirdly validated.
The actor hasn't shared much about his relationship with Zoe, but he did state several times that the romance blew his mind. At that time, I was falling madly in love in a way that was changing me and opening me up. And being in love, real, true, earth-shattering love, even though it sounds hyperbolic, I really was going through it. Helped me be as good as I could be. At one point, their romance seemed very serious. Penn became close to Zoe's family. In one of his interviews, he shared that he was hanging out and visiting music festivals with her father, Lenny Kravitz. However, this relationship didn't work out either. After about 2 years of dating, the actors called it quits. And this time, Badgley also used a drama-free approach to ending things. He never commented on the reasons for the breakup, just saying that there were no secrets and misunderstandings with Zoe. I'd say honesty is always the best policy. There are always a lot of arguments, but even if honesty starts some, it avoids bigger ones. After his second long-term relationship, the actor decided to take some time for himself. He focused on his acting career, making successful movies like Cymbeline and The Paper Store. Penn also chose to get more involved in his spiritual practices. Around that time, he found his religion, Baha'i faith. The Netflix star said it helped him to see the world and his own personality in a new way.
It creates this working, vivid metaphor for us to consider, and hopefully it encourages us all to reflect on ourselves.
When he started to think in this new way, the actor met the love of his life, the singer and doula Domino Kirke.
What I knew is that you'd just gotten back from, Colombia.
Penn and Domino were just friends for a few months after first meeting, and then the two realized they are sharing one soul in two bodies.
I loved that he was seeking just something in life bigger, higher than him.
After dating for almost 3 years, Domino and Penn tied the knot, and sometime later they welcomed their first child together. Surprisingly, he and Joe became fathers to their sons almost at the same time. The actor shared that his experience as a new dad and his character struggles were almost identical, with sleepless nights and total chaos around the house.
I'd imagined parenthood would feel like an essay by Nicholson Baker. Tiny moments made magnificent. Yeah. Turns out, Parenthood is Groundhog Day as written by Jean-Paul Sartre.
It's very similar.
Penn added that becoming a father helped him understand the fears and some other emotions of his character.
So scared, and of course I can identify with the fear, but I mean, he's just so morbid in his obsessive sort of self-preservation, primal instinct that sometimes I almost found it harder as a result.
Still, most of the time, Penn does his best to be the total opposite of Joe Goldberg. When he is not filming, he dedicates all of his time to his wife and baby and his hobbies. What's most important is that he tries to find happiness in spite of the dark moments of life.
To me, even being a father in a pandemic is still been a joy somehow.
I love that dichotomy, whereas Joe is on screen just killing people, slowly going insane. You're just home making music with
Yeah, no, really, no, dude.
Got a good life.
It was actually really, that's the strange dissonance between the two.
Have you noticed any other similarities between Joe Goldberg and Penn Badgley? Let us know in the comments.